Welcome back to the channel, everyone. So this is going to be a pretty special video for myself because Jurassic Park and dinosaurs in general were the first thing I actually fell in love with and actually started collecting. So this is the 30th anniversary of Jurassic Park, and Mattel has released a number of different items, one of them being this real feel red Rexy, which imitates the Kenner version that we had back in the 90s. I knew I had to have this once it was announced. You know, growing up with the Kenner Red Rex, this just really rings home, and very happy to have this in the collection, and just a perfect way to commemorate the 30th anniversary. So this is a Target exclusive. The price for this is $49.99, which is probably the max I'd want to pay for something like this. You know, it does have sounds, articulation, and the real feel, but I would say this is probably at the cap of what I want to spend. The packaging to this is super vibrant. You know, they gave it a real vintage feel to make it, you know, seem like it was coming from the 90s. You know, you can just see how everything's displayed, and, you know, here's the rest of the sets that are released within this 30th anniversary. Here is a better look at those sets. So we have a track and capture, we have Ian Malcolm with like a Dilophosaurus, and we have Dr. Alan Grant with a Gallimimus. So they did a great job bringing this vintage feel into 2023. These are all Target exclusives also. They're hitting stores pretty heavily already, but she's kind of like slowly trickling in. Like, out of all the Targets that I have in my area, only 2 had her in stock. And that was within like a 50-mile radius on my pop finder. But here you can see the rest of the things that she does. So she can chomp on those mini dinosaurs, she can roar, and then also, oh yeah, I forgot, she can swallow them, and you can bring them out from her belly, kind of like the Gulper Rexes that we had from the Lost World. And finally, on her thigh, she has a little scanner. You can use that on the Jurassic World Facts app to unlock all her details. Here is the barcode and the Target DPCI to help you track her down in store. She's been popping in and out on the app for pre-order, but there is no estimated ship date yet. Alright, here she is out of the packaging. I'm liking what I see so far, and no pun intended, but she totally gives me those like nostalgic vibes. I mean, you know, comparing her to the Kenner Rex off camera, it's really cool to have this in hand. Let's start with the head. So the entire body and tail is going to be that real feel. So all the arms and legs, and then as well as the head, are going to be like a harder type of plastic, which makes sense because, you know, it would probably be like too floppy at the appendages in the head. She has those nice green-yellow eyes, and when we have her looking straight on, they are nice and symmetrical, and that looks good. There's not one that's like super high compared to the other one, so a fantastic job there with the placement. There's also some sculpting for her nose, as well as her overbite, which looks good. Her mouth does fully close, so you don't see, you know, like the sides of her gums sticking out or anything like that. Looks like her head has 2 points of articulation to open her mouth, so we have the upper part of the head as well as the lower part of the jaw. Now, it opens really wide because, you know, that will allow you to put a lot of those mini dinosaurs in there. Let's see how big this bite really is. So I have it opened up as far as I can get it without breaking it. So bottom of the jaw at the teeth to the top, we're looking at 4 inches. That is pretty impressive. So I really do like this feature. It is something that we saw with the super colossal Tyrannosaurus Rex and like the rest of that line. So this wasn't something that was on the Kenner Rexes, so, you know, that's a cool feature to add with this. You can see there's also some sculpting to the tongue, and we'll get a nice good close-up of that. You know, there's a pretty good diameter within there. I could probably fit some 375-inch humans, most likely from the Jurassic World scale, like the Hammond Collection, but I might be able to get Master Chief in there. I don't know, he might be a little too bulky, but we'll try later on in the video. The upper roof of her mouth has some sculpting, which looks really good. Now, since this jaw is 2 different points of articulation, we can move the lower part without affecting the top of the head, which I really like that because you can add more character and posability when you're displaying her in your collection. Moving into the neck and the body, this is where that real feel comes into play. And, you know, they did a good job blending the 2 different, you know, pieces of rubber and plastic together. So it doesn't look super off, you know, going from the real feel up into the head, which is the harder type of plastic, and then also within the legs and the arms. That's something that I've actually really appreciated about Mattel, is that they're able to blend it really well using different pieces of material. Comparing this to the Kenner Rex, I would say they matched it really well. It's pretty soft. I would say it's not quite as soft as the Kenner Rex, but it's basically there. And honestly, it's just a big win to have like that real feel, that they took that into consideration. Like, okay, this is what the Kenner felt like. This is what it looked like back in the day. Let's try to recreate that, you know, with our modern technology. I mean, they very well could have just made the entire Rex just like a harder type of plastic and then thrown it on the shelves. But they didn't, and so I appreciate them for that. The arms do have articulation, so we have a hinge and a swivel. We can take both of them and flare them out about that high, which looks really good. The Kenner Rex does not have that articulation. And then we can also spin them all the way around. Moving down to the legs, on her left side, there is a little flap of skin that you can open up, and there is that Jurassic World code there. I'll give you all a little close-up of that so you can scan that on your phones. I do really like that they put the code underneath the piece of skin that you can open up and not like a pull tab, because it really makes this figure seem more authentic, you know, because a lot of these Kenner figures, they had, you know, pieces of skin they can take off and expose like bones and guts and stuff like that. So that was smart thinking from the Mattel team. Her legs have a pretty good amount of articulation, so we can bring them out about that far. We can bring them on in. There should be a swivel here at the thigh, which is what we've seen with the majority of these figures. And we take the leg and rotate it all the way around. And those joints feel nice and stiff. I don't have any fears of her like falling over or anything like that. Then we have a swivel at the ankle, so we can take both feet and spin them all the way around, which again is pretty traditional with what we've seen with the majority of these figures. There's a nice deep black paint application to the toes, but there is no paint applications to the hands, which the Kenner Rex doesn't have them there either, so I'm not going to dock them for that. Her last little bit of articulation is going to be at the tail, so there seems to be like there's a rod in there with like a lot of little joints, so we can take the tail and like bend it, you know, there and in a little bit more. And so again, it has that real feel at the entire tail, so we can take it and just move it around. I mean, not a crazy amount of articulation, but still a pretty good amount. Over time, I could see maybe part of this ripping just because you are holding on to it and you're keeping that skin tight, and then you're trying to turn it, you know, the joint as well. So I can see that becoming an issue over time and maybe tearing. So I would maybe like push the skin in a little bit and then turn the joints, you know, maybe to reduce the risk of, you know, potentially tearing any part of the tail. But, you know, at the end of the day, the tail isn't like a Hammond Collection Rexy, so I wouldn't treat it as such. Something else that I noticed is that her stripes stop about 3/4 of the way down her tail, whereas the Kenner Rex went the complete length. So that is something that I would have liked to have seen, is just the continuation of the stripes all the way down her tail. Same thing can be said about her underside and this green. You know, the Kenner Rex goes all the way down, and this is probably a quarter of the way down. So again, something that I would have liked to have seen just continue all the way down the tail. The rest of the screen looks really good on her underside. It's not quite as dark as the Kenner Rex. I would say that's like a guacamole that's maybe gone bad, and this one is still probably pretty good. But it looks good. I like it. You know, I just wish it went all the way down, but nonetheless, it does look really nice. And then also, I would like to have seen it go up her chin, you know, just to keep the entire figure, you know, if this is resembling, you know, that 93 Kenner Rex, like, that this is resembling the figure as much as possible. It isn't a deal breaker or anything like that. It is just, you know, something that I would have liked to have had. And of course, we got to talk about this open gap that is down here. This is where you can pull out all her digested human and dinosaurs and whatever else your heart desires to put down her gullet. So I said I was going to do it earlier. Let's test it out. Let's see if our World of Halo Chief can actually fit in Rexy. And I don't know. I'm thinking no, but we're going to just do it anyway. So we're going to open her mouth up as much as we can. And maybe. Oh, watch. I'm going to get him like freaking stuck and I can't get him out. Okay. So I don't think he can do that. Maybe I can fit like a Marine in there. Maybe if I go like this way and like lift his arms up. Let's try that. Let's take his assault rifle off. Oh, okay. So that's a little bit better, but okay. So I don't think he can. I mean, if I really wanted to, I could probably force him in there, but I would probably break either him or her trying to get him out. So that's about as far as I'm going to do that. We're going to put some actual dinosaurs in there now. So I grabbed some volunteers from the collection. We have a metallic Spinosaurus, metallic Bull Rex. We have some vintage Kenner figures. We have a T-Rex and a Gallimimus. So let's try the Spino first, my favorite dinosaur. I think her sail might get in the way.
Oh no, it looks like I can get her through. Down the hatch she goes. Let's just hope I can get her out the belly. Oh crap, I think she's stuck. There's like a plastic piece right there. I'm trying to get her over. Yes, this makes sense now. Okay, no, I got her. So just her sail got in the way of that plastic piece, but she's there. Okay, so we got her there. All right, let's load up another one. Why not? Let's go through some more trauma. I don't know if this one's gonna fit, honestly. Let's try. Oh, maybe. Yeah, no, the legs are a little bit more bendable on this one. The sail was just a choking hazard, no pun intended, on this neck piece. Okay, yep. With a little bit of pulling, I got the Bull Rex and the Spinosaurus in there. Okay, so looks like there's some more room. Let's do the Gallimimus. Why not? So that one should just slide right in, no problem. And let's just do the T-Rex while we're here. Full belly, hibernation mode. Okay, so it definitely works. I mean, some dinosaurs, as you see, I have to maneuver a little bit more than others, but I mean, that just comes with the nature of their designs. But they're in there, and you know, it's cool. It's a cool feature. You know, the Kenner Rex doesn't have that, so that's a nice addition to have. Now, the real question is, can I get them all out? Looks like Bull Rex is coming out first. Okay, 1, Gallimimus 2, Spinosaurus 3, and T-Rex 4. Just for fun, let's see if a Stormtrooper and a Marine will fit down her throat. I think a Stormtrooper will. Marine might have some trouble. All right, let's see. Down the hatch. Oh, I think we can do this. Yep, okay, cool. Stormtrooper is no problem. Okay, he just slid right on down. I probably stretched out her neck because of that Spino. Okay, that was perfect and easy. Now let's try the Marine. So these should line up with 375-inch scale. This Rexy should be in line with, you know, 375-inch figures. So if you wanted to do a scene, you can very well do one. And let's see, I put him in there, and I think he should slide right on down. Also, okay, so confirmed, a Marine and a Stormtrooper can definitely fit down the Red Rexy. Okay, before we move into comparisons with our Kenner Rex, let's just do some measurements. So from tip of the tail to about the front of the head, I'm thinking we're about 21.5 inches long. And her height, standing at a neutral position, looks like just under 8 inches. So she does roar and make sounds. She has a speaker at her bottom, which is actually surprisingly loud, and her button is actually going to be at the top of her hips, not on the sides like the Kenner Rex, which makes sense because, you know, if she's swallowing dinosaurs and things like that, it's going to get in the way and probably interfere with the button mechanics. It does seem like there is 4 different sound clips, and I'll play those for you. So those sounded really good. It even seems like they pulled them from the first film. So once you've pressed it 4 times, going into your 5th one, it resets to whatever the first one was that you originally pressed. They were all roaring sounds, some of them with like some crashing and stuff like that. It would have been nice to have one that had like the stomping sounds also. So now the question is, how does this stack up to our 1993 Kenner Rex? I mean, honestly, it's hard to beat this. I mean, this is just the OG, you know, this was like prime Jurassic. There's nothing that's been done like this before. The heights, the material, the sounds, the stomping action, the opening of the jaw. This was just a great piece, way ahead of its time. Now moving 30 years forward with our 30th anniversary Red Rexy, which does a good job honoring our original Kenner. And of course, we got to see how she stacks up next to our Hammond Collection Tyrannosaurus Rex, which coincidentally both are the same price. And both have a vast amount of differences. Okay, my final thoughts on the new 30th anniversary Red Rex from Mattel. The price point is $49.99, which is on the higher end of what I would want to pay for something like this, especially in comparison to the Hammond Collection Rex. That one is also at $49. It has a crazy amount of articulation, paint applications, and just the whole shebang. But she does have a numerous amount of things that make her stand out compared to the rest of the Rexies, especially at this scale. For starters, this is the 30th anniversary, so that makes it special in and out of itself. She has that real feel technology throughout her body body and her tail, which has never been done on a Rexy before. She has her traditional articulation at the legs and the arms. Her tail has movement as well, and then the biggest piece is going to be her mouth can open up and swallow dinosaurs, which hasn't been done before on this scale of Rex. She does have the 4 roaring sounds that are from the film, and this iconic paint application throughout. All those things make this a must-have for my collection. In a perfect world, I would have maybe liked to have spent $35 to $40 on this, but with everything included, you know, I don't know how much it costs to make the real feel, so I guess $50 is pretty justifiable. If you can find it on sale, then I would say definitely grab it. Since this is part of the 30th anniversary, it's already super popular, and sometimes it's very hit and miss with Jurassic toys. Sometimes you can find them regularly with no problem at all, and then other times they hit and they're pretty much gone. So for me, I didn't want to risk that, so I scooped her up once I saw the chance. Oh, and one other thing, not only can you swallow dinosaurs, but you can swallow humans as well, which was a big win in my book. But that is it. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you found it helpful. Be sure to find me on Instagram, where I do toy photography, toy videos, toy hunts, toy deals, and all things toy related. Link in the description. I post heavily on my stories when new things drop, so don't miss out on that. And if you like this video and you want to see more of it, be sure to like and subscribe. It is free, and I will see y'all in the next video.